In a devastating turn of events that has rocked the gospel community to its foundation, Vanessa Knowles, a beloved gospel icon, died in a car accident. And the specifics that are coming to light are startling. What actually took place that fateful evening? Why, according to some insiders, is there more to this story than first appears? You won't be able to speak after what we're about to reveal, so stay with us. Beyond her work as a gospel singer, Vanessa Knowles has other interests. Millions were inspired by her voice, a soul whose music offered healing and hope. The gospel community, friends and fans are in shock over her unexpected death in a deadly car accident. The tale doesn't stop there though. We are delving deeply into every aspect of this tragedy tonight. This movie will reveal the details that everyone is discussing, including the precise circumstances of the crash, family and fellow artist reactions, and even startling insider accusations. Some of the information are just now becoming public, and you won't believe what occurred next. Pay great attention as we tell this narrative, because some of the details may contradict what you believe to be true about Vanessa's life, profession, and the events leading up to that fateful night. You'll see at the conclusion why this story is causing a stir in the gospel community and why admirers everywhere are calling for clarification. Let's begin from the beginning though and follow Vanessa's journey, the events that preceded the disaster, and the turning points. There was more to Vanessa Knowles than just singing. In the gospel community, she was a sensation, born and brought up in a household that cherished music and religion. At a young age, Vanessa found her voice. She was performing in local churches by the time she was a teenager, and her powerful and expressive voice dazzled the crowds. She was unparalleled in her ability to use music to connect with people, and it soon became evident that she was meant to be great. Her first CD, which shot to the top of the gospel charts in a matter of weeks, marked the start of her professional career. Her distinctive style, which combined classic gospel with modern sounds to create songs that appealed to both young and old listeners, won her accolades from critics. Her genuineness was praised by her fans. She never held back while discussing her own spiritual path, challenges, and victories. Vanessa was well known for her humanitarian work in addition to her music. She took an active part in charitable events, frequently performing for organizations that helped impoverished people. The news of her unexpected death was all the more devastating because her life looked full of promise and meaning. However, few people were aware of Vanessa's personal struggles behind the scenes. According to close friends and insiders, she suffered physical and emotional harm as a result of her rigorous schedule, frequent travel, and pressure to uphold her public persona. According to some, she had told family members that she was tired. Nevertheless, her commitment to her art remained unwavering. It's critical to comprehend her life's background as we examine the events leading up to her sad catastrophe. The passion, hardships, and triumphs that shaped her into a legend. At this point, the plot darkens, and the specifics of the night that altered everything begin to surface. However, what precisely took place that evening? How could a life so full of optimism, faith, and music come to such a sad end so quickly? The responses are profoundly painful and shocking. We will also dissect the events that preceded that fatal night in the next part. The evening that Vanessa Knowles died started off just like any other, but nobody could have predicted the disaster that would follow. Official sources state that Vanessa was returning from a music event where she had given one of her most impactful performances to date while traveling alone late at night. Her energy at the event is described as electric by fans and co-workers. She had made the audience laugh, smile, and feel a strong connection. Nobody could have predicted that these would be some of her final moments. It was a chaotic night. According to eyewitness testimony, Vanessa's car was involved in a high-impact collision on a major highway, according to authorities. The circumstances behind her car's collision with another vehicle are still being investigated, according to the details. Early theories claimed that poor visibility and slick roads might have been implicated, but experts suggest that other causes, such as possible mechanical failure or the involvement of another vehicle, might have been involved. Although emergency personnel reached the location in a matter of minutes, there was significant damage. First responders emphasized the severity of the incident by describing the situation as terrible. Tragically, Vanessa passed away from her wounds, even though she received prompt medical attention. Fans and other musicians were shocked by the news, which rapidly went viral on social media. Her official accounts were inundated with condolence messages within hours, and hashtags celebrating her legacy started trending globally. According to family sources, Vanessa had been heading home following a busy day of shows and rehearsals. Earlier that night, she had talked to close friends about how excited she was about a project she was working on, a partnership that would perhaps usher in a new era in her career. According to several insiders, she also reported feeling particularly tired, which raises the possibility that weariness was a contributing factor. However, this is the section that has generated a great deal of conjecture. Shortly before the collision, witnesses claimed to have seen a second car speeding close to the area. Whether this car fled the scene or contributed to the crash is being looked into by authorities. Numerous internet arguments, speculations, and conversations have been sparked by the notion that someone or something may have had an impact on what happened that evening. The gospel community is struggling with both grief and unbelief as more information becomes available. In addition to lamenting the loss of her music, Vanessa's admirers are also grieving the abrupt passing of a person who gave them hope and faith. Artists are speaking up, expressing their recollections, and calling for authorities to fully investigate the circumstances behind her untimely death. The immediate aftermath of the incident, including official investigations, gospel industry responses, and the devastating tributes that were coming in from all over the world, will be covered in the next section. What insiders are disclosing behind closed doors is something you won't want to miss. Information that might alter how admirers perceive her last hours. The gospel world was rocked by the news of Vanessa Knowles' death in a car accident, and social media was quickly inundated with expressions of sorrow and incredulity. The unexpected death of a woman whose music had impacted millions of lives left fans, coworkers, and other artists reeling. In a matter of hours, tributes started pouring in. According to industry insiders, Vanessa was not only adored for her music but also well regarded for her professionalism, humility, and mentoring, as evidenced by the touching tributes posted on Instagram and Twitter, and the candlelight vigils held in her honor at nearby churches. Many up-and-coming gospel musicians attribute their success to her, pointing to her support, direction, and unshakable faith in developing fresh talent. Several up-and-coming gospel singers recounted personal encounters with Vanessa after her death, recalling times when she had taken the time to counsel them, pray with them, or just offer words of consolation. The gospel music industry's official responses were impassioned and quick. Statements highlighting Vanessa's legacy and expressing deep regret were released by record labels, other artists, and church leaders. Her loss was felt not only as a personal sorrow but also as a blow to the gospel community as a whole, according to a well-known gospel minister who called her a voice that brought hope to the hopeless and a light in a sometimes dark world. Social media swiftly developed into a center for speculation and sadness. Videos of her previous performances were uploaded by fans, who praised her stage presence, vocal prowess, and the happiness she gave to crowds. Hashtags celebrating her legacy started trending worldwide, highlighting the enormous influence she had on people from all walks of life. Whether this car fled the scene or contributed to the crash is being looked into by authorities. Numerous internet arguments, speculations, and conversations have been sparked by the notion that someone or something may have had an impact on what happened that evening. The gospel community is struggling with both grief and unbelief as more information becomes available. In addition to lamenting the loss of her music, Vanessa's admirers are also grieving the abrupt passing of a person who gave them hope and faith. Artists are speaking up, expressing their recollections, and calling for authorities to fully investigate the circumstances behind her untimely death. The immediate aftermath of the incident, including official investigations, gospel industry responses, and the devastating tributes that were coming in from all over the world, will be covered in the next section. What insiders are disclosing behind closed doors is something you won't want to miss. Information that might alter how admirers perceive her last hours. The gospel world was rocked by the news of Vanessa Knowles' death in a car accident, and social media was quickly inundated with expressions of sorrow and incredulity. The unexpected death of a woman whose music had impacted millions of lives left fans, coworkers, and other artists reeling. In a matter of hours, tributes started pouring in. According to industry insiders, Vanessa was not only adored for her music but also well regarded for her professionalism, humility, and mentoring, as evidenced by the touching tributes posted on Instagram and Twitter, and the candlelight vigils held in her honor at nearby churches. Many up-and-coming gospel musicians attribute their success to her, pointing to her support, direction, and unshakable faith in developing fresh talent. Several up-and-coming gospel singers recounted personal encounters with Vanessa after her death, recalling times when she had taken the time to counsel them, pray with them, or just offer words of consolation. The gospel music industry's official responses were impassioned and quick. Statements highlighting Vanessa's legacy and expressing deep regret were released by record labels, other artists, and church leaders. Her loss was felt not only as a personal sorrow but also as a blow to the gospel community as a whole, according to a well-known gospel minister who called her a voice that brought hope to the hopeless and a light in a sometimes dark world. Social media swiftly developed into a center for speculation and sadness. Videos of her previous performances were uploaded by fans, who praised her stage presence, vocal prowess, and the happiness she gave to crowds. Hashtags celebrating her legacy started trending worldwide, highlighting the enormous influence she had on people from all walks of life. The public hardly ever saw this aspect of Vanessa, the intimate times when she felt the weight of expectation and fame. Additional debate has been stoked by reports from witnesses close to the crash area. Numerous witnesses said they witnessed a car acting carelessly on the same section of roadway, which may have contributed to the deadly crash. There have even been claims that this vehicle may have fled the scene, which has sparked conjecture over a targeted collision or a hit-and-run situation. The allegations have raised a level of mystery despite the lack of official confirmation, leading both journalists and fans to call for greater openness from the authorities. Furthermore, discussions in the music industry suggest that Vanessa's last days may have been impacted by tensions that existed behind the scenes. According to several insiders, disputes over contracts and creative control have made negotiations over her next projects unpleasant. Although these stories have not been confirmed, they raise the possibility that Vanessa was subject to pressures that the general public was unaware of, which would have given the terrible events of that evening a more nuanced context. Online discussions have been triggered by the crash's controversies. Theories abound on social media, some logical, some more imaginative. Supporters are wondering if the public has been informed of all the relevant variables. Was it just a coincidence? Or did the disaster result from a confluence of fatigue, outside intervention, and unanticipated events? As everyone, from casual fans to gospel insiders, attempts to piece together the truth, the quest for answers has produced a tense and emotionally charged situation. What's even more shocking are the remarks made by other musicians who had known Vanessa well. She had confided in them about feeling concerned in the days prior to the crash. According to several, this was taken by some as a foreboding or premonition concerning future events. Others speculate that the practical difficulties she encountered during her late-night journey may have contributed to her intuition worries. Whatever one's interpretation, these insider remarks depict a woman balancing a great deal of strain, but still using her music to encourage and promote people. One insider close to Vanessa's management team makes one particularly striking discovery. According to them, Vanessa was engaged in a groundbreaking project that had the potential to propel her career to previously unheard-of heights. According to reports, this project, which was characterized as both spiritual and innovative, was scheduled for release soon following her death. Although she was thrilled about it, according to insiders, she had voiced concerns about its completion and its reception. Fans and coworkers are left wondering what may have been because of the terrible timing of her death. An eerie query that exacerbates the sorrow over her passing. Authorities stress that the inquiry is still ongoing and advise against drawing hasty conclusions in spite of the rumors and conjecture. Nevertheless, fans and reporters who are keen to learn the whole story feel compelled to do so because of the combination of eyewitness reports, insider information, and the dates of her career achievements. We will examine Vanessa Knowles' lasting legacy, the ways her music continues to impact people's lives even after her death, and how her influence may continue to alter the gospel community for years to come as we proceed into the following part. The reality of that deadly night might be more complicated than anyone had thought, therefore it's crucial to consider the issues that remain. The loss of Vanessa Knowles creates a hole in the gospel community that is difficult to fill. Her impact extended much beyond her musical career. She served as a role model, an inspiration, and a live example of the strength of faith and tenacity. From her early days in neighborhood churches to her appearances on the largest gospel venues, Vanessa made a difference in people's lives that went beyond her notoriety. Her ministry was her music. Hope, support, and healing were the themes of each song. Fans often told how her songs helped them get through tough times and provided solace when they were feeling hopeless. Vanessa's songs served as the background music for innumerable lives, from spiritual awakenings to individual triumphs. She stood out from her colleagues and solidified her reputation as a gospel hero because of her capacity to relate to people on such a personal level. In addition to her artistic abilities, Vanessa was well known for her kindness and commitment to encouraging others. She frequently took part in community service initiatives, mentoring up-and-coming gospel singers, singing at charity functions, and visiting hospitals. Her closest friends and family characterize her as modest, personable, and sincerely interested in changing the world. Stories of her generosity have poured out since her death. Simple deeds that demonstrate a woman who lived out her beliefs in more than just words. Vanessa's influence is still growing even after her death. Her narrative has reached listeners who might not have been familiar with her music via news coverage, fan memorials, and social media tributes. Her artistry and message are still relevant, as seen by the viral videos of her performances and the spike in album streams. Her legacy is being used by both fans and other artists to motivate new endeavors, gatherings, and partnerships in her honor, guaranteeing that her spirit endures. Her tragic death also serves as a reminder of the vulnerabilities and expectations associated with celebrity. Vanessa's story serves as a reminder that even the most powerful people are human beings who deal with stress, fatigue, and personal struggles. Important discussions regarding promoting artists' mental health and safety, especially when traveling and performing late at night, have been spurred by her tale in the gospel community. Vanessa's ability to bring people together via music and faith is what really made her legacy endure. From youthful admirers belting out her songs to seasoned gospel veterans appreciating her gift, Vanessa transcended cultural and generational divides and became a representation of quality, tenacity, and the gospel's transformative power. Music. We face the unresolved issues surrounding the crash that claimed her life too soon as we consider her life. Her legacy serves as a reminder that her impact cannot be quantified by the circumstances surrounding her death, even as inquiries continue. Rather, it is evident in the lives she impacted, the professions she sparked, and the optimism she brought about with her music. We will combine all of the story's components, the startling collision, the insider information, and the huge outpouring of love and grief in the concluding part to consider why Vanessa Knowles' life and legacy are so important. We'll also talk about why this narrative will be relevant for years to come, and what the gospel community, authorities, and fans are doing to honor her memory. There is more to Vanessa Knowles' terrible death than the loss of a gifted gospel singer. It is the passing of a ray of inspiration, trust, and hope. Millions worldwide were impacted by her life of music, ministry, and compassion. From her early days of singing in local churches to her ascent to fame as a worldwide gospel legend, Vanessa showed that genuine greatness is not just about skill, but also about having the capacity to inspire others and make a lasting impression. It is impossible to avoid feeling the weight of the unsolved questions when we consider what happened that terrible night. There is a sense of disquiet brought on by the specifics of her tragic crash, the eyewitness reports, the insider disclosures, and the conjecture over possible contributing factors. In the hopes that the whole story will come to light and that justice or closure will ensue, fans and the gospel community keep looking for clarification. Nevertheless, Vanessa's legacy is more radiant than ever in the midst of the sadness. She still inspires others with her music. Her life narrative serves as a reminder of the transience of life and the enduring strength of religion, and her generosity and guidance continue to have an impact. Her memory is honored every day through memorials, tributes, and social media posts, guaranteeing that she will never be forgotten. Vanessa's voice reverberates in the hearts of people she touched, even when she is not there. This serves as a reminder that her goal of spreading joy, optimism, and spiritual elevation was never limited to her stage presence. The goal was to transform lives. Vanessa's tale is both tragic and motivational for viewers of this video. It is an exhortation to value the time we have left, to help those we love, and to pay tribute to those who make a difference in the world. Although the gospel community laments her passing, they also honor her remarkable life, her accomplishments, and the significant influence she had on succeeding generations of Christians. One thing about Vanessa Knowles that should not be forgotten is that tragedy cannot dim her light. Her narrative serves as a monument to the strength of love, faith, and tenacity, and her legacy and music are everlasting. As viewers, we encourage you to remember Vanessa. Tell us about your favorite tunes. Keep her spirit alive by sharing your own tales of how her music impacted your life. Participate in the discussion in the comments section. Tell us how you intend to remember her and which of her songs most touched you. For more in-depth articles on gospel legends, controversies, and the realities behind the headlines, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Even though Vanessa Knowles is no longer with us, her message and voice will go on.